Hi, it's Terry Gaines. I'm going to give you some assembly tips on creating this note card holder made from a mini shipping box, which is sold by Stampin' Up! In their 2019 annual catalog. I have a butterfly closing the top flap. You just open it up, and as I mentioned, there's note cards inside. I have 2 note cards and envelopes in here, and it is a fun little project to make. And you can actually use this as a packaging for multiple different gifts. I just happen to have note cards in there. As I mentioned, it uses the mini shipping boxes that Stampin' Up! Sells, and there are 8 in a package. And what we're going to do, actually what I'm going to do, and I hope you do create this project also, what I'm going to do is open this up, and it's a nice sized little gift box you can make. What I'm going to do is open this up, and then I'm going to center this so my 2 printed panels are lined up centered, and I kind of use that little crease there to help me with that. Take a bone folder and flatten that side, and then I'm going to flatten this side. Then I'm going to use the Simply Scoring tool, and that's going to be used a couple different times for this project. And what I'm going to do is place this corner in here. Just want to make sure I'm on camera. And I'm going to take and score 3/4 of an inch from the side. Now this happens to be where the seam is, so it will score this top flap, and then it gets stuck right here, and it won't score because it's multiple layers and an extra layer of cardstock there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to that side. I'm going to flip this side over and score this at 3/4. Now I should be able to score all the way down. I'm going to keep my stylus in the 3/4 inch scoring track right here. Flip this over, then I can come over here and I'm going to go up. I'm going to just go up here like so. And as I mentioned, it's really difficult to score that inside section, but I'll be able to do that just shortly. I'll show you what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to just take these 2 pieces, tuck them inside, and I'm going to score this flap, this on the bottom of the box. I'm going to line this up to the little wall here and over to the side, and score this at 2 and 2.5. Then I can get the Simply Scoring out of the camera view and show you how I'm going to work with this. Excuse me, as I mentioned, it didn't score through here, but what I can do is I can just fold that down, use the bone folder, and get that a nice crease. And we're going to do an accordion fold here, so we're going to need to go back and forth on that. Again, crease this side, and I'm going to just crease it again on this side. So your bone folder definitely comes in handy for this project. Now what I'm going to do is make an accordion fold. So mountain, valley, and so forth. Do the same thing here. There you go. Accordion fold on both of those. And then just kind of make a nice crease on this also. These 2 folds are going to be folded up like so. And this piece is going to tuck into this spot right here. Before I tuck that in there, I'm going to actually put some Terri tape. This is a very strong adhesive, and this is what we're going to need for this project. So I'm going to apply the Terri tape in that first panel here, right close to the scoring, the score line there. Take the end of the paper snips, and you can use, take a pick tool also works to get that off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck this inside here and tuck this in like so, line that up, and then just press down to get that adhesive to adhere there. I'm going to consider this the back side and this the front side. Along this seam right here where I just tucked that in, I'm going to apply some more Terri tape. This is actually going to hold the ribbon on that goes around the holder, the gift note card holder. So I'm going to put some Terri tape here. Again, you can use the take a pick or the end of the paper snips and peel the backing off. I actually like to keep my ribbon on the spool. This is the 1/2 inch black, basic black satin ribbon. As I mentioned, this is going to be the front, so how I determine this is I kind of figure this is what I need to tie the knot, wrap this around the back, then I can set this on my work surface and then bring this over the Terri tape. It's going to serve two purposes. It's going to keep the ribbon from falling out, but also by wrapping this ribbon around, it's going to keep the accordion from popping out. So we're going to use this for two purposes. And then I'm just going to tie a knot here. And you can, you don't want to go real tight. You want to keep some accordion and some depth to your little note card holder. And then trim that off. When I leave the ribbon on the spool, then I just have the waist that I trim on that one end. So we've got the bottom part of the box done. The flap is actually a piece of cardstock that is 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. And this needs to be scored, and I have not done that yet. So I'll bring the scoring blade back in, or simply scoring tool back in. And it needs to be at 1 7/8, and then also at 2 5/8. And actually, if you were to rotate that, it's 1 7/8 on both ends. So I've made this uniform flaps on both sides with a 3/4 inch, I think it's 3/4 inch spacing. Yeah, 3/4 inch spacing in the middle. Also, I determine the width of this by placing the classic label punch, letting this rest all the way to the bottom, and then lining the edge of the paper up to the edge of the punch and punch this out. So this should be pretty close to the center of that cardstock. That's going to be the slit that the butterflies will be fastened to. So these are going to be folded in, and the Terri tape will also go on this bottom flap close to the score line and on the back of it. This is a strong adhesive, and you need this type of adhesive anytime you're working with a piece of cardstock that you're folding and changing the shape of it, because it naturally wants to go back to its original form. So this will be a good adhesive to use. Then what I do is I actually look at the front. I'm centering it here and here, equal gap here. Then I turn it over, and then I just let it rest on the back and then fold that down. There might be easier ways to do that, but that's how I've been doing it, and it works out good. Next, we need to put the butterfly on. So the butterfly is from the Butterfly Wishes stamp set, and I've stamped this on a piece of scratch paper. You always want to stamp it first, and then you can turn the punch over upside down and punch the butterfly out. So we'll line this up. See how well I do on camera. There we go, punch this out. What I also need to do is score the butterfly in half. Sometimes if I just fold the wings up, I don't get a nice crisp fold there. So I like using the Simply Scoring tool for this. And what I do is I put the butterfly wings up to this edge here, and then just find a track that centers the butterfly, and then just crease that. That way I can fold it and be nice, and a nice fold there. We also need to punch two butterflies out of the basic black cardstock, and I need to do the same for both of those. And then we'll fold those. So now we have our butterflies. We actually need 3 butterflies, 2 basic black, and 1 that's stamped. This is our focal point. Terri tape is the adhesive for this also. And what I like to do is place this and go crisscross across here. And I'll trim that and peel off the backing, and then crisscross it the other direction. Whoops. Things seem to go well until you are videotaping, then things sometimes don't go so well. My videos are unedited. They contain bloopers, misspoken words, technical issues, but hopefully it helps with your assembly of these projects. So now I'm going to take a folded butterfly and I'm going to hold this up and just line these up, and then take this butterfly, fold it, and line this up. So now I have my butterflies, and I didn't get that quite on correctly, but it will work. So now my butterflies are one's folded in the back and folded here. So again, Terri tape is going to adhere these butterflies. So I'm going to crisscross this and trim, peel off the backing, and actually applying some pressure and friction will help release this. And I'll grab the take a pick tool instead. There we go. And crisscross it here. I just like to crisscross them. I think it gives it a more secured, it adheres it a little bit more securely. So then I'm going to take this backing off. So now what I need to do is attach this butterfly to the center here. So what I'm doing is I'm going to place this down, and let's just trim this little piece off. As I showed you, I kind of didn't get that one piece centered very well. So I'm going to look at the center of here for the center of the butterfly, and I'm going to go down 1/8 of an inch for both of those wings. By doing that, I've centered the butterfly. It's about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom here, and then the wings come together, and that will close the note card holder. The note cards I designed that go in here are super simple, and it's using the Stampin' Up! Note cards. You get 20 in a package. You get 20 envelopes also. And I have the Magnolia Lane Designer Series paper, and it's going to be layered onto basic black. The dimensions are here along with in my blog. I actually took the layering circled dies and cut out the layering circle I needed for the greeting. Before I adhered this, and then I can adhere my greeting, put some dimensionals on the back of that, make it layered as such, and then I took some ribbon, tied it into a little knot, and put that on with a mini glue dot. So super simple note cards. If you found me via YouTube, look in the comment section and you will find a direct link to my blog post where you can find the supply list, measurements, and instructions for this project. There'll be a PDF tutorial you can download and a direct link to my Stampin' Up! Store to purchase the supplies. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoy creating this project with me.